Welcome to the AM News segment on the AM show. Let's start from the President, John Dramani Mahama, who's taking a significant step towards fulfilling his promise to reform Ghana's education sector by appointing an 8-member committee to organize a national education forum. The committee, chaired by former Pro-Vice-Chancellor for the University of Cape Coast, Professor George K.T. Odro, has been given 2 weeks to submit a comprehensive plan for the forum. Its members include Professor Goski Alabi, Professor Rosemary Bosu, Dr. Samuel Awuku, Professor Smile Gisi, Kofi Asare, and Stephen Owusu, and Inusa Shiraz. Now, here's a news desk report by Maxwell Agbagba.
The terms of reference for the committee is to 1. Develop a theme and sub-themes to guide the stakeholder engagement. It has to identify key stakeholders in the education sector, including students, parents, teachers, civil society organizations, development partners, religious bodies, political parties, Ghanaian educational researchers in the diaspora, chiefs, and many others to be invited as participants. Furthermore, develop a stakeholder activity agenda with time allocations, propose a venue and dates for the forum, set up a secretariat to document activities, provide a budget for the National Education Forum, and develop a comprehensive report detailing the findings and recommendations of the forum. The committee is also expected to draft a national education policy framework and propose an action plan for implementing recommendations within 3 weeks after the forum, and also consider any other issue relevant to the organization of the conference. President Mahama, on the campaign trail in the run-up to the elections, promised to reform Ghana's education sector. He gave a hint of the scope sometime in January at the National Convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission Ghana at Winneba in the Central Region.
Still on the President, John Dramani Mahama has expressed concern over the growing frustration among Africa's youth due to limited opportunities to achieve their dreams. He urged African leaders to accelerate economic growth, create employment, and combat corruption, which continues to deprive nations of resources and hinder development. Speaking at the 2025 African Prosperity Dialogues at the Accra International Conference Center, he called on leaders across the continent to work towards building a strong, resilient, self-reliant, and globally competitive Africa.
Prosperity cannot be achieved without good governance, transparency, and accountability. Investors and businesses thrive where there is stability, predictable policies, and the rule of law. Our youth are getting tired and frustrated at the lack of opportunity for realizing their dreams and aspirations. Our decision to embrace democratic governance was supposed to be accompanied by a dividend that will lead to improvement in the lives of our people and prosperity for all. Unfortunately, progress in this regard has been sluggish and largely intangible. If we are to maintain the faith and trust of our citizens in democratic and constitutional governance, we must accelerate our rates of economic growth, expand investment, and provide employment opportunities for our young people. As leaders, therefore, we must reaffirm our commitment to strengthening democratic institutions and ensuring free, fair, and transparent elections. We must fight corruption, which robs our nations of resources needed for development. And we must promote peace and security, as economic growth is impossible in times of conflict. It is therefore a call to action, this African Prosperity Dialogue, that Africa's time is now.
Mr. President John Dramani Mahama also urged African governments to collaborate with the private sector and invest in vocational and technical education to equip the youth with the skills needed for the future. He also urged African countries to process and add value to their natural resources to boost global trade and create sustainable jobs for the youth.
We must move beyond being exporters of raw material to become producers of finished goods. Whether it is cocoa in Ghana, oil in Nigeria, copper in Zambia, or diamonds in Botswana, we must process and add value to our natural resources. By so doing, we'll not only increase our share of global trade, but also create sustainable jobs for our people, especially our young people. We must indigenize ownership of our natural resources. There's capital and technology available to us today to increase our participation in the exploitation of our natural resources. Our governments must therefore work hand in hand with the private sector to drive industrialization through special economic zones that encourage manufacturing and innovation, access to finance for small and medium-sized enterprises, which are the backbone of our economies, investments in technical and vocational education to equip our youth with the skills needed for industries of the future. The fourth industrial revolution presents a golden opportunity for Africa to leapfrog traditional development models. We don't need to go back to inventing the wheel. Digital transformation can drive financial inclusion. It can improve public service delivery and create new opportunities for all our people. We must therefore expand internet access and digital infrastructure to bridge the digital divide. We must encourage fintech and e-commerce to facilitate trade and economic participation. We must invest in research and development to support our homegrown innovations. Technology indeed has the power to make Africa more competitive.
In other stories, the newly outlawed patron of EduSport, Professor L.C. Kaufman, has admonished education stakeholders to discontinue theorizing education. Speaking to Joy News at the 10-year anniversary launch of EduSports in Elmina, Professor Kaufman stated that education should be made fun to serve as a catalyst for societal change.
The launch of the 10-year anniversary of EduSports, the new patron of the network, Professor L.C. Kaufman, explained her role as a champion of the network's goals while lauding its accomplishments.
As a patron, I am the ambassador, I'm the champion of EduSports. So what I intend to do is to showcase what EduSports has been doing over the 10 years, and then even moving into the future, what the amazing people that form this EduSports community have been doing. They have this amazing catalyst. These are young people, many of them volunteering their time and their knowledge and their resources to make an impact in society. When you go to a sport, they are not thinking about themselves alone. They are thinking about how they can use their skills, their knowledge, to make a difference in that community, right? They get a lot of training, leadership training, to be able to help them to do this activity. It's amazing what they are accomplishing. The whole point is that education should not be something theoretical, something that only shows up as a certificate, but rather something that can be used as a force for making change in the communities. So they make education fun and exciting.
The CEO and founder of EduSports, Kat Davidson, highlighted the significance of the network and expressed interest in government collaborations.
And in terms of the government support, we would very much want to send a message to the government to say that we really want to work alongside you in this project. The elements of our work, such as our Keeping Spots Safe badge to improve systems and understanding of safeguarding, is something where we need to work hand in hand with the government, particularly as many of the spots are in government schools. And we'd love to share knowledge in terms of how this very community-driven approach to education that has community engagement at its heart could also possibly have some learnings for the wider work that they're doing in Ghana. So I know the team are very keen to work hand in hand with government. As the next step in our 10-year journey, we'd love them to come on board with our work further.
A peer mentor, Gifty Abudu, also shed light on the impact of EduSports on education in rural communities.
I've been an EduSports catalyst for the past 4 years, and joining this network has been a wonderful journey. I come from Akumadan Sports, and Akumadan is one of the towns known for farming, so education has been a bit of a problem for us there. Joining EduSports has helped in bringing so much impact to the learners in Akumadan Sports.
The EduSports network, which has been in existence since 2015, is meant to connect, train and equip community teams to ignite locally driven change through education. Reporting for Joy News, Abigail Nkrumah, Elmina.
The effects of climate change are worsening poverty and unemployment in Ghana, forcing many young people to migrate from rural areas to cities in search of opportunities that often don't exist. ActionAid Ghana Country Director John Nkwao has highlighted the urgent need for interventions. He made these remarks during the launch of the Strengthen Community Resilience Against Climate Change project in WA. And our Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
ActionAid Ghana, in partnership with GIZ, introduced the over £1 million Selling Reach project to support climate interventions in 110 communities across the Upper West and Savannah regions. Launched at WA, the initiative focused on improving access to water resources and irrigation infrastructure, as well as improving afforestation and soil health in targeted communities, using reports from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the World Meteorological Agency on the rise of global temperatures. ActionAid Ghana Country Director John Nkwao lamented of the disproportionate changes that affect women, youth, and children, leading to food insecurity, increased poverty, and hindering overall development.
A World Meteorological Organization report indicates that 66% chance that from 2023 to 2027, at least 1 year will see average global temperatures exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial levels. They also threaten our progress towards the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Drought, heat, and floods in current times have affected food sovereignty and increasing poverty in Ghana, and more especially and specifically also affecting the Upper West region and the Savannah regions. Ghana is not immune to these challenges. Notable events include annual spillage of the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso and the Weja Dam in recent times in the Greater Accra region, both causing significant destruction to communities along the river banks. The spillage displaced over 35,000 people across 3 regions, destroying livelihoods and homes. Furthermore, the severe drought during the 2024 cropping season, the worst since the 1982-83, has heavily impacted food security in agricultural heartlands, particularly across the northern Ghana.
John Nkwao enumerated plethora of climate change intervention programs that ActionAid Ghana and its partners initiated in the past to confront the growing climate-induced challenges, which has helped to improve climate resilience strategies for smallholder farmers.
Overarching context demonstrates the widening poverty gap, gender inequality, and increasing injustices around the world, and particularly the Upper West and the Savannah regions, which require a comprehensive set of actions, strategies, priorities in the communities that we work in, particularly facing the youth, women, and girls.
Project manager for the REACH project, Matthias Betold, threw further light on the project.
The REACH project is not working alone. It's actually part of a larger program, the EU-Ghana Agricultural Program, which is, by the way, the largest program of the EU in Ghana. And aside from the REACH project, there is also the market-oriented agriculture program. Maybe you know it, it's also implemented by GIZ, and the agricultural water management program, which there will be also some similarities with this one here. So all in all, it's really looking at achieving an impact, bringing solutions for economic development based on agriculture, leveraging the potential of irrigation and agricultural development.
Chief
Moving on, artisans in the Suame Industrial Enclave in Kumasi are counting their losses after a devastating fire swept through over 30 shops Friday night. Several properties, including vehicles, spare parts, and auto mechanic equipment worth millions of Ghana cedis, have been ravaged by the inferno. A known fire station in Ashanti region's largest auto mechanic enclave was relocated to a further destination, which the artisans argue fails to respond to timely to fire emergencies. Emmanuel Bright Kweku was at the fire scene, where victims and witnesses described the incident as unprecedented. Here's more.
Tears drop as artisans at Garage 18 zone in the Suame Industrial Enclave in Kumasi salvage and discard debris from Friday night's inferno. Properties including service tipper trucks, saloon cars, minibuses, spare parts, and other automobile accessories were raised by the blazing inferno. Peter Esiedo has worked as an artisan in the enclave for nearly 3 decades. He couldn't salvage any of his equipment, including restocked items. I had bought new items to sell later, but all have been burnt now. I don't know what exactly I'll be coming here to do, since my shop has been burnt. The fire is reported to have started about 10 p.m. on Friday from one of the shops in the area.
So it's been several hours since this fire engulfed properties here, and plumes of smoke continue to be in the atmosphere in this particular place. Although it's unknown the cause of the fire, we understand that it started somewhere in this particular shop that has been razed down and debris left over. It swept through the entire vicinity, destroying properties worth millions of cedis.
Fire tenders reportedly rushed to the scene to extinguish the blazing fire as residents nearby sought refuge. The fire tender from Mampontin came first. The fire hadn't even gutted 5 cars, but they couldn't douse the fire. I couldn't take anything except my children. Everything is burnt. The Suame Industrial Enclave is the region's largest auto mechanic and trading center. The garage, located on the fringes of the industrial enclave, is home to many highly combustible items. A fire station previously situated in the vicinity has been relocated to a further destination. How can we be in Suame and have a fire tender all the way from Ejuso to come douse fire? We used to have a fire station, but it's no longer here. The leaders must ensure to establish one here. No casualties were recorded, but the artisans eagerly anticipate financial support to re-establish their livelihoods, as most of them are without insurance.
Reporting from here at the Suame Industrial Enclave in Kumasi, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
The Multimedia Group Limited is 30 years old, and the Kumasi unit of the Multimedia Group, Love FM and Ishira FM, commemorated the day with praises and thanksgiving. The event, which has become a cornerstone of the company's culture, serves as an opportunity to express gratitude to God for the past year and to look forward with renewed hope, especially as 2025 marks 30 years since the establishment of the business. Emanuela Irabuna Akwa joined the staff to worship at the forecourts of Love and Ishira FM and now tells us more.
The Thanksgiving service saw elated staff from all departments joining spirits in raising their voices in praise and worship with soul-uplifting songs. Head pastor of Miracle Manor Church, Pastor Joy Obed Obing, who led the service, spoke of the power of moving out of one's comfort zone and persevering to make a difference in society. He encouraged the congregation to make God their portion in 2025 and beyond.
God has been our portion as an organization, and He will continue to be our ultimate satisfaction, our sustainer, our provider, and our cup of blessing. As we continue to trust Him to bring us peace and stability, increase and profitability amidst the world of uncertainty, I believe with all my heart that this year is going to be a better year than last year.
Speaking on behalf of the Multimedia Management Team, News Editor Kofi Edu-Domfe expressed great gratitude to the entire team for being steadfast despite the challenges in the previous year.
Indeed, the past year being an election year with its own uncertainties was challenging for us individually and of course as a business. But we continued to work hard, and through it all, through our resilience, this is how far the Lord has brought us. Dear colleagues, this year the Multimedia Group is 30 years, a remarkable milestone in journalism and media excellence. We will continue to stay true to our values and commit to media excellence, integrity, and most importantly, public excellence.
Other staff who joined in the Thanksgiving service shared their experience working with the Multimedia Group and the expectation for the new year.
Our motto, our energy is Christ at work, and that has given us the energy to push us forward from day one to date.
Everything that we do, we've grown over the years in terms of on air. We've been the leaders for a very long time, and we still are. So the experience has been very great.
Samson Ado, popularly known as Alaje, is the longest serving employee in Kumasi.
Really tough, but my memory is that the good platform that multimedia will give you to excel is a learning field. If you are here as a journalist, you can be a presenter, you can be administrator. It's a learning field for everybody.
Starting the year with God, the Multimedia Group is poised to continually touch lives in Ashanti region and beyond, and also continually create good content for the audience. Here at the Multimedia Group Kumasi, my name is Arabna Akwi.
That pretty face ushering us into the business update segment now with Benjamin Akapo.
Welcome to business. Let's get into our first story. And the total amount of gold that the Bank of Ghana is holding as reserve build-up has increased significantly. George Riafe has the rest of the story.
Data released by the Bank of Ghana showed that these holdings increased from 19.5 tons to 30.5 tons ending December 2024. One program that has played a significant role in this build-up is the Bank of Ghana's Gold Purchase Program, an initiative that has seen the central bank buy more gold with the local currency to build up its reserves, now running into billions of dollars. This has been a mix of dollar cash and gold. For some market watchers, the development could send signals that the Bank of Ghana is now in a strong position to support the Ghana city, as well as meet its debt obligations on behalf of government. The latest economic and financial data released by the Bank of Ghana puts the country's international reserves at $8.9 billion, ending December last year, representing 4 months of import cover.
Now, the Minister-designate for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Rashid Pelpuo, has emphasized that the government is ready to support already existing businesses to participate in the 24-hour economy. He disclosed this statement during a ministerial parliamentary vetting.
And policy direction of it is to give vent to businesses, to make it not just a choice, but a policy decision by the state, to ensure that in doing so, businesses can be supported. Those businesses that were not in 24 hours can now be supported to join the race. It's no longer going to be as and when I like it, but just when I like it and backed by government policy. So it is true that several organizations are already working 24 hours, and that's giving credence to the fact that we can get others to join them. You know, one of the challenges that other businesses are facing working 24 hours is how much they can ensure security. And we say we'll provide the security. Is how much they can ensure enough capacity. We said we will support them with the capacity, you know, and et cetera, et cetera. How much do we have enough money to pay for electricity? We said we will support you to do so. It's simply just to boost production, create more opportunity for our people to work, and to ensure that we reshape the economy in a manner that is going to be work-based and production-based.
Let's head to our currency exchange for this morning. Well, that's it for business. Sweetie Abochi is back on your screens.
Yes, and it's a wrap for the AM News Bulletin on the AM show. But stay, because we get right into our news review segment. And Kofi Tonto, political aide to former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and David Vondi, Member of Parliament for Trifuati Bokwa, they're joining us to review the newspapers. We're back in a bit.